Jordan,
Ian.
who went for a shower and decided to get a little spicy. So instead of using shower gel, they used the 10 million Scoville special edition hot sauce and is now blind and can't grow any hair anywhere on their body.
Demi Lovato?
No. Two guys. Hello, and welcome to episode 117 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where there's a reason I don't like hot sauce, and that's because I pretty much watched the skin melt off of a man that I took a shower with, and that guy was this guy. It's Jordan. Jordan, how are you?
I'm feeling better than I was.
Thank God. And I mean, it was a little bit of a traumatic experience for me.
Not for me, obviously. The one whose skin had melted off.
It was more so for me because it took me days to clean it up. Just couldn't eat it all in one sitting. So
That's so horrible. How are you doing?
I'm tired this morning.
Ah, yeah.
My son was off nursery for the last 2 days, so I was unable to do anything really. I couldn't nap. I tried to clean the house, but he'd just go sort of behind me and remake the mess.
Right, nice.
Yeah, I was just kind of stuck in a little bit of a limbo. Couldn't really do much. So he's back at nursery today, and that is why I'm sat here talking to you. I haven't just sort of given up
Yeah.
and just be like, fend for yourself, mate.
I'm sure he'd do all right, to be fair.
He is solid as fuck.
Resourceful.
That's why they call him the tank. Anyway, how are you, Jordan? You're good? How's the new car?
Very good.
The double engines, yeah?
I must admit, I'm super loving the miles per gallon that I'm getting.
I know, you keep sending me pictures.
I'm geeking out over it.
I don't know what it means.
You were like, why are you sending me this?
I know what miles per gallon means, right? I understand that bit. But what I don't understand is what all the numbers mean. This is precisely exactly like when someone goes, oh, fuck, look at that car. Oh, man, ain't she a beauty? And only 38,000 miles on clock. And I'm like, what does that mean? I have no idea what relevance that has to fucking anything.
Okay, I'll quiz you.
No, don't.
Yeah, no, go on. This is it. This is happening now.
God.
Open this can of worms. Cannot wait. So, what do you think the average is for miles driven a year?
I have no idea.
I mean, what would you guess?
I don't know, 30?
30 or 30,000?
No, I have no idea. I genuinely, I have no idea. I have no sort of reference
Right.
as to what a mile looks like in my head, right? So if I drive from here to my work, I don't know what that is.
Maybe a mile.
So how do they expect me to fucking know? Like, am I going to go, right, so I'm going to be working 742 times this year, so the times out by 2, and then I'm going to plan, maybe X amount of 50-mile trips. So how are you supposed to know? Like, I have no clue.
I'm not asking, like, what yours is. I was just asking what they deem the average to be.
Yeah, right. So I don't know what the average is, and B, what I was talking about then is like in insurance, when you get your car insurance done, they're like, how
Yes.
many miles do you expect to do?
Exactly that, yeah.
It's like, I don't fucking know. How am I supposed to know? So no, I have no idea.
Okay, so give me a number. What would you guess? Go on, give me a figure.
I don't know. I have no idea. I know insurance companies say 5,000.
5,000.
Yeah, there you go. That'll do.
Okay, so it's usually 10,000.
Okay, right, yeah. And they just asked all these cars, did they? They said, how many miles have you done this year, mate? And I was like, let's tot them all up and do a little average there.
Yeah, but that's the whole reason why we have odometer readings.
Oh, and what? And when was the last time you submitted your odometer reading, mate?
I literally take a photo every day because I have to do it for my accounting.
Yeah, but who do you send it off to that tallies that? Like, other than your accountant that will take that for your payment, like, do you send that to your insurance company who can then do the maths and work out what the average is per year per person in the country? But it's a load of
Oh, I mean, I assume what they'll do is they'll probably get that figure from dealerships, won't they? Because when they buy and sell cars, they'll have the readings for those things. So it's not going to be that hard to get a rough average. You know, if they're like, the car is 3 years old, it's done 28,000 miles in those 3 years, that's roughly 10,000 a year.
Yeah, but they'd have to know what the car did before.
Yeah, but when they get a car, they make a note of the mileage.
Yeah, so say I'm a dealership and I'm getting a car that's been given to me after the third owner,
Yeah.
and it says 58,000 miles.
Okay.
And the last person doesn't know what it was when they got it, so they can't figure out how much was done in 1 year or whatever.
Okay, you don't need to know that, do you, Ian?
Yes, you do, because you're asking me how many it is a year, and I
Okay.
don't know. And you're saying they work it out this way, and I'm saying no, they don't, because they can't know.
This is hilarious. So you realise that you have a registration plate. That will indicate what year the car was released.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
So that will tell you, like, it was manufactured in 2020. So it was released to the public in 2020, and then it's done done 58,000 miles, so you divide that by how many years that has been.
Okay, so in the first year, it went to a person that just passed their driving test and they fucking wanted to drive all the time.
But again, you're missing the pot. It's an average.
Yeah, but it's an inaccurate average.
Well, no, that's the whole point of an average. So some people more, some people less.
Yeah, so if somebody does 1 mile, right, a year, just to give it simple numbers, someone does 1 mile a year and someone does 100 miles a year, what's the average of that? 50? Not accurate at all.
But, yeah, because you're doing it based on two things.
Yeah.
But if you did it based on a whole nation's worth, you've got a pretty good average.
Nah, I don't believe you.
I cannot wait to hear what people make of this. It's great.
This is precisely exactly the reason why I told you at the beginning. I know nothing about cars.
You weren't wrong.
Exactly. And you decided to quiz me.
Well, I just found it interesting.
Just not my interest, mate. I don't give a fuck about cars.
You're like, it's not music, it's not paranormal. Fuck it. Don't need to know. Well, just to put a lid on this, my car at the moment has done like 74 miles per gallon, and anything above 60 is considered good.
Thank God. I still have no idea what you're talking about.
Ask ChatGPT, it'll sort it out for you.
I'd really rather not.
Fair enough. Anyway,
Jordan, yes. Right, so we've got a bit of an odd one today. Have you got anything prepared? Because we don't know if we're going to be doing it.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a weird situation where you think your topic today is going to be super horrendously stupid long.
Yes. And I mean, we have done this before when I spoke about Stardust Ranch. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of that, I was like, oh, man, I've got such a super long segment for you. And it ended up being like half an hour.
Oh, yeah, it happens all the time where you're like, oh, I've got a short one today, and it ends up an hour and a half.
Or like, oh, yeah, I've got a short one today. My wife's like, you've always got a short one, Ian.
Everyone knows.
I've told your workmates.
So I have for you potentially a story today.
Right.
That is a real true life event. And I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
Because it may or may not happen. And if not, we'll do it next episode.
Okay, I mean, I'm very interested to hear what this story is because you told me about it last week. You said you had something true, but not paranormal, but fucking weird.
Yeah, I felt a little bit bad with the whole stepping on your toes for the Cecil Hotel. I thought, if I'm going to present stories, I'm going to do things that are not paranormal in nature.
Right.
At least then, you know, like, it's fair game for you then.
Mate, I love hearing about the paranormal. I would love for someone to tell me something that I haven't heard before. So if you ever do come across a weird story...
All right, then. I've got Roswell for you today.
No. Right. See, that's where I draw the line, pal, because you know what I've got coming up for you. That...
Go figure. No, I'm excited to hear about this, because this is something that feels like it should have been spoken about a long time ago.
See, that's the whole thing about it. It's a very told story. Like, you've heard it a million times. So I didn't want to tell you about it until I had a reason to make it worth listening.
Yeah, but equally, no one's heard it from the mouth of you, Ian.
Precisely, but I want to get some sordid, dirty, deep, dark details.
Oh, like what the aliens were wearing.
Precisely.
The nightgowns.
Stockings and suspenders.
That's horrible.
If you haven't guessed, people at home, yes, today I am going to be going into the goddamn Roswell crash. But before you turn off, you say you've heard it all before and skip this one, may I ask you to just hold on a gosh darn minute? Because I ain't just giving you the, oh, there was a UFO crash, blah, blah, blah. I've got history, I've got connections, I've got secret government programs, and I've got insane theories.
And miles per gallon.
Yeah, I've got the UFO's mile per gallon coming up just for Jordan.
The UFO's odometer readings.
Yeah.
From start to finish. They average 15,000 miles a year.
Oh, is that good? I don't know.
Could you imagine, though? They'd actually average, wouldn't they? Distance travelled many millions, I guess.
I don't understand what goes on Earth.
No, clearly you don't, to be honest. Let's move on.
So shall we just jump into this, Jordan?
Let's do it.
In the years leading up to the 1947 Roswell UFO crash, the United States was already in the midst of an unprecedented wave of UFO sightings. The moment that sparked it all off also happened in 1947, but 1 month before the famous Roswell crash. And what happened, Jordan, changed ufology as we knew it. Because flying saucer reports were being made right across the country, and this sparked widespread public fascination with extraterrestrial life. But on June 24th of 1947, a pilot named Kenneth Arnold claimed to have seen 9 bright saucer-like objects near Mount Rainier in Washington, and this sparked a national obsession with the idea of alien visitors. not just in the US, but worldwide. So by the time of the Roswell incident, UFO reports were pouring in from across the globe, creating fertile ground for all kinds of theories about aliens. The US government, along with military personnel, were increasingly aware of these reports, and the public's hunger only grew for answers.
Makes sense.
Spooky business. Now, Jordan, we've spoken about Kenneth Arnold before. Do you remember that?
Not really.
Okay, I drank, I think, about 3/4 of a bottle of vodka. We were at your house.
Oh, right.
And
Surprised you remember.
yeah, I don't see. Stupid memory. I don't understand it. But, right, hang on, let me refresh your memory. Guy saw these aliens. He went to see another guy. The guy said, yo, go and investigate this for me. He went, all right. So he went over. He got to that hotel. Remember that? And then they were like, oh, yeah, here's your room. And he's like, I didn't even know I was staying here. How did you know I was staying here? They were like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then the guy went on the boat and got all that slag dripped on him from the UFO. And then the guy went to see it. And then his dog got killed. And then, you know, remember that?
Where it was just a bunch of events that didn't make sense. And did it seem like he was a bit of a loose end?
Yeah, by the end of it, they were just like, we haven't achieved anything from all of this madness.
Yes.
Yeah, precisely. So that happened just 1 month before the Roswell incident.
Oh, right, okay.
But oddly enough, the city of Roswell itself had already gained some notoriety as a place for strange incidents and secretive military goings-on. The region's vast, isolated landscapes made it a prime spot for all sorts of testing and experiments, and as the military pushed forward with new technologies, some began speculating that there may be a link between UFO sightings and these classified government projects that were being carried out in the desert. Some examples of such rumours were testing of experimental aircraft and testing of atomic weapons. So, right from the get-go, Roswell as a place wasn't just another random location, it had already been linked with the weirdness, setting the stage for something extraordinary to happen there. So, long story short, UFO reports had become a cultural phenomenon, the public was primed, and Roswell had become the centre stage. So this brings us to July the 4th of 1947. A rancher named William Brazel was chilling out at home with his family when all of a sudden they all heard an explosion somewhere off in the distance. Apparently this meant nothing to them because it wasn't until the next morning when Willie Boy decided to go out and check on his sheep that he stumbled upon a debris field unlike anything he'd ever seen before.
Okay. The only thing I took of that, by the way, was the fact that you'd written July the 4th, rather than how you always hear it in Americans as the 4th of July.
Oh, okay. To be honest, that didn't even click, mate.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Yeah, Independence Day, my apologies.
That's the one.
So when Mr. Brazel got to this debris field, laying in the dirt were metallic fragments that were lightweight but incredibly strong. It was as thin as tinfoil, but impossible to tear. Some of the pieces had strange hieroglyphic-like markings on them, and when he crumpled up a piece and let it go again, it snapped right back to its original shape.
Oh, interesting. I was going to say that would be great for tinfoil, because I hate when the stuff breaks, but
Yeah.
if you wrap it around the plate and let go and then it just pings back, it's not useful.
You wrap up a potato to bake it, put it in the oven, ba-twang!
Yeah.
Massive.
Like flubber.
Like breaks your oven window. You're like, oh, fuck's sake, it's the third one this week.
Yeah. That's interesting, though.
Memory metal.
Oh, is that what they call it?
It is, yes.
Ah, I've not heard that.
Have you not?
No, I haven't.
No way. Well, the more you know.
But I've heard about odometers and national averages.
And Independence Day.
Yeah, that too.
Brazel was confused, but gathered some of the debris and made a trip into town to report it. And this, Jordan, is where the shit hit the fan.
Shitty fan.
Shitty fan, get out of me bedroom. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer from Roswell Army Airfield, rocked up to take charge of the situation. Marcel was no rookie, he had top clearance and experience in identifying aircraft wreckage, yet when he arrived at the site with the team, he was baffled. He collected pieces of the debris and even took some home to show his family, but he couldn't quite figure out what the fuck it was. And there was a reason for that, and he knew the reason for that. But you see, Jordan, according to his son, Jesse Marcel Jr., when showing it to him, his dad looked at him and whispered, "It's not from this earth."
He knows things.
He knows things. He knows things. Because
And I'm sure he does his own insurance.
I'm sure he takes pictures of his odometer every morning and logs them with his local insurance company. So within hours, the military had locked down the site, soldiers swarmed the area, gathering every last piece of wreckage, and they warned the locals that they better keep their goddamn mouth shut. You, shut your face.
Oh, is that a direct quote?
Mildred, shut your face. Beatrice over there, in the back. I see you skulking off. Shut your face.
It's a bit of a mean guy.
Well, you gotta be a little bit mean, if you gotta try and keep the alien secret in. You couldn't just be like, hey, bud, just do us a favour. Keep a little quiet on the alien business, will you? You gotta get right in the face and shut your frickin' mouth, William.
But the difference is that they might be saying it to innocent members of the public while they're walking down the street, minding their own business.
Well, it just becomes their accidental go-to. You walk into a Target and the greeter's like, hello, sir, can I get you a basket or a trolley today? Then shut your face.
That's cruel.
Pretty funny.
Unless you're that employee.
Unless, I don't know, he's got some kind of kink. He's like, yes, sir.
Strap this ball gag to me.
Bang me!
Call me Richard.
Tell me to shut my face. So, on July 8th, 1947, something historic and monumental happened. The RAAF issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc. This made front page news across the country. The US military had just confirmed the existence of UFOs. But before anyone could celebrate unimpeded disclosure, they changed the story.
Yeah.
The next day, General Roger Ramey held a press conference at the Fort Worth Army Airfield. Explanations were given, the debris was displayed, except now it was just a standard weather balloon.
Of course.
An age-old story. Ramey claimed it had all been a big misunderstanding, and to really sell it, they even brought Jesse Marcel back and forced him to pose with the real debris. Except now, instead of strange metal complete with symbols, he was sat next to some shredded up weather balloon in tinfoil. Blah.
Nice.
Load of bollocks, mate.
So that must be such a kick in the face.
Would it though? I mean, what stake does Jesse Marcel have in this? He ain't gonna care. He knows the truth. If an alien crashed in your back garden, right, and they said, okay, we're gonna let you live, but just don't tell anyone, would you be like, well, at least I know the secret?
Yeah, I guess. But then you're made to live a life of a lie, aren't you?
Yeah, that's true.
And that will be shit, because forever people will be pestering you about it.
Very good point, Jordan. Okay, I've changed my mind.
Thank you.
Bastards! I just punched my mic arm when I did that.
That's very violent of you, Ian.
No, it's purely by accident. Limited it when Bastards! I'm so mad!
It's alright, don't be punching your mic arm.
Oh, mic arm's dead, mate. I'm going after other things now.
Oh, right, okay.
There's a lamp that's giving me the eye. He's going to get a fucking punching.
Oh, God, it's the lamp theory.
Next, I'm going to go for my War of the Worlds LP. You looking at you big green-eyed bastard.
You need a big poster of Whitley Strieber's Communion.
Oh, God. What, just to wake up every morning and give a big bop on the schnoz to?
In fact, yeah, you should stick it right on the ceiling where you sleep.
Oh, God. That'd just be like day one, heart attack.
That would be great. That would be so funny to hear about that.
1 week, right, on the podcast, it'd be like, I've got my poster, oh, I'm just going to stick it on the ceiling, see what happens, maybe a bit of exposure therapy, get myself used to it, and then next week it'd be like, Ian's dead. We released on the Monday, he woke up on the Tuesday, and that was it.
Was it the moment when it blinked at you?
Oh, God, that's awful.
It just winked.
It's one of those posters with like the two-way image.
Oh, like the hologram.
Yeah. I was thinking more like I wake up and the poster just falls off the ceiling and starts coming towards me.
Comes for a hug.
Yeah, arms wide.
You nose to this thing.
I would just implode into a singularity.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Something for your birthday.
I'm moving house, if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, I tried that, didn't I? Yeah.
Oh, by the way, they've moved in. Teddy barked at them massively.
Good lad. He can tell. He knows the evil when he sees it.
Exactly. He was like, that was meant to be Uncle Ian's.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
Then, as we were walking him, somehow he just produced a knuckle duster out of nowhere. That was weird.
It's weird because it doesn't even fit him.
He's just around his neck. Right, Jordan. So we've had the press conference, we've had the weather balloon, and just like that, the story dies. The newspapers print the correction, everybody moves on, and Roswell fades into the background. For a bit.
For the chumps that just believe that.
Yeah, silly chumpies. Over the years, more details started to trickle out. Details the military wanted buried. And in the late 1970s, Jesse Marcel himself, now retired, finally broke his silence.
What did he say?
He went on record saying, that was no weather balloon. We had a craft from another world. And when they pressed him for more information, he was like, that's it. That's my statement. Got up and walked off.
Tease.
And suddenly, from that, the floodgates opened. Other witnesses started speaking out, civilians, military personnel, and even deathbed confessions.
Ooh.
A nurse from the RAF hospital, who later disappeared, claimed that she had seen small humanoid figures with large heads and slit-like mouths. Their skin was a greyish pink and their eyes were disproportionately large.
Greyish pink?
Yeah, that's how they have been described.
I've never heard of the pink part.
Yeah, that's in there. Some people report different things, but yeah, that is one of them. A mortician named Glenn Dennis later came out and said that the military asked him how to embalm a body that wasn't human, and was later threatened for asking too many questions.
I mean, you kind of would ask the question though, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Do you know how to embalm a body that isn't human? They were like, well, you're clearly not talking about an animal, because you'd have just said animal. So,
yeah.
Want to give me a bit more of a hint?
I mean, to be honest though, that does kind of imply that it's just not human, so it could have been anything.
Yeah, but like say, if it was going to be a fucking fish, you'd say embalm a sea creature, or you'd put a bit more specificity on the thing that you're going to be embalming, so that the guy knows what you're talking about. You just don't say non-human.
No, that is fair.
Then there was Frank Kaufman, a radar operator at the Roswell base, who claimed that he had seen the crash site before it was sanitized, and described a domed craft, partially intact, with strange symbols on its hull and nearby bodies. Revelation. There were reports from civilians who stated that they'd been intimidated into silence, and some even saying that they had been visited by particular men in black suits who made threats and warned them to shut their goddamn mouths.
Oh yeah, we've heard of those buggers.
Those men in black bastards. Good at carpentry though. Great builders. Have you seen my new skylight?
They do good coin magic, though.
They do, yeah. And they're fantastic at making hearts disappear. Fantastic surgeons.
I mean, when they said that they steal the hearts of many, that's not what they originally thought.
Yeah, so how do you steal the hearts? That's magic. Do you want to see where I keep them? Just opens a cupboard.
Just opens his briefcase.
They're still beating! Ah!
Yeah. Happy Valentine.
And the reason the government wanted people to keep quiet, Jordan, because it wasn't just about a crashed saucer. There was much more to this story.
Do tell.
Well, Jordan, behind the scenes, the events didn't just rattle a few generals. It sent absolute shockwaves through the highest levels of government. It was so big, in fact, that it forced the creation of one of the most secretive, most controversial committees in history. And if you know your UFO history, then you'll know who I'm talking about when I mention the Majestic 12. I was expecting some kind of fucking like Majestic 12.
I mean, it does sound like a superhero group, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like guitar squealing.
You've got a guitar. You could do it.
Oh, all right. Challenge accepted.
Let me know when you're ready and I'll set it up.
Right, mate, I'm ready.
And who's that coming over the brow of the hill? Oh, look, it's the Majestic 12. Imagine if your string snapped.
My finger!
The neck broke.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks for that opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. I can't wait to try and amp that signal.
I did it as close to the mic as I could for you.
Nice.
So MJ-12, as their friends call them, was supposedly put together by President Harry Truman himself just months after Roswell, with one mission: handle the extraterrestrial problem. It was made up of top scientists, military officials, and government insiders. Basically, the biggest brains with the most powerful figures they could get together and gather around the biggest table that they could find. Their job? Study the tech, cover up the truth, and most importantly, make sure the public never find out what really happened at Roswell.
Yeah, I can believe it.
I can believe it, The end. You may be wondering, just how do we know about Majestic 12? Well, the answer is simple. Apparently we know about it because some leaked documents that surfaced in the 1980s. Maybe they're real, maybe they're not, but if they are legit, they prove the government wasn't just dealing with crashed UFOs, they were dealing with something far, far bigger. Now, Jordan, what is far, far bigger than a crashed intergalactic 747, I hear you ask?
I mean,
Go ask me.
a being?
Correct! And that, Jordan, is where I'd like to introduce you to EBE-1.
Oh, it sounds kind of cute now.
Not cute, wacko.
It does sound cute, though. It's like R2-D2.
Doesn't pay his share whenever they go out for fondue.
Ah.
Takes the last slice of pizza without asking. Never washes out his cups in the sink.
Yeah, they're not someone you warm to.
Spies on you while you're pissing.
Nice.
Can you imagine having a wee? You see this fucking greyish, pinkish, big-eyed little bastard like, oh yeah. peeking round the corner.
And especially when you get stage fright and it stops you.
Or you just like, turn around real fast and
It melts it.
yeah, my one weakness. Pissed. Curse my water sports fetish.
While it's becoming a big goopy mess on the floor.
Yeah. And the guy's like, oh no, a big goopy mess, my one weakness.
You're like, I'm glad I had that bottle of Avion.
I'm glad I quit working for Area 51 a fair few years ago because I couldn't be dealing with this. I just signed up to test lasers, okay?
Nice.
So, Jordan, picture this for me, if you will. You're a military officer, you're sent out to investigate some weird shit in the desert, and when you get there, you don't just find weird broken metal and scorch marks, you find goddamn aliens. And one of these little bastards is alive. Because you see, Jordan, according to multiple whistleblowers, the Roswell crash didn't just leave behind strange debris, it left behind dead aliens, but one of them was a survivor.
Oh dear.
This survivor was named EBE-1 because it was the very first extraterrestrial biological entity that the US government captured and took into custody, likely at the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which is apparently where all the Roswell wreckage also ended up. But according to reports, EBE-1 wasn't just sitting there mute, staring at people, having a little wank under the table. He actually started communicating. Scientists and intelligence officers worked with him to understand his origins and just why in the hell he was there in the first place. And this is what he told us.
Before you continue, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine, carry on.
You know how there's that video that has done the rounds for many years that is supposedly true of that interview? Is this related or is this different?
This, I believe, is that alien.
Ah, okay.
Because when you sent that to me the other day, I said I was going to try and work it in, and this is a point where it would have gone.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Because there is apparently new evidence to suggest that that was real, and that is being discussed and disclosed at the moment.
I mean, I don't know how they define that.
To be honest, I don't either. That's why I didn't put it in, because there's no way I could say, and this is real because of such and such that's come out recently, when I don't know what it was.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, thank you very much for bringing that up. I'll put the link to that video in the description, so if anybody wants to know what the we're talking about, you can head over there.
Yeah, it's really creepy and weird.
It is horrid to look at.
A question for you, though. As you watch that video, does that give you those feelings like it does with the communion poster?
To be honest, it doesn't.
Does the sound of it creep you out?
I don't recall hearing any sound, to be honest.
I'm sure it replies, doesn't it?
As far as I'm aware, the video is silent.
I've seen one before where there is audio.
You have to share that with me after this if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, there's audio and they're asking it and then it's replying and it sounds weird.
Where did you come from? IKEA.
Imagine though, it sounded like it's been sucking on helium. How far did you travel today?
Fucking welfare!
What is your planet of origin?
Your mum's house!
It's a practical joker. They're just misunderstood.
They are not. They're wackers.
Okay.
Take it from me. So this guy says that he came from a planet in the Zeta Reticuli star system, which is the star system linked to the Betty and Barney Hill abduction case, which is a story for another day, so I won't go into that right now. But he said that his species were what we call the Greys, and apparently they weren't hostile. If anything, EBE-1 was outright cooperative. He went on to give us information about their people, their technology, and their reasons for visiting Earth. But there was just one problem, Jordan. This poor guy was sick. His body wasn't handling our environment well, and despite efforts to keep him alive, he eventually died in 1952.
Oh, poor bugger.
Fuck him.
Okay. Give me 2 minutes.
You come on FaceTime like Ian. This is, we would like to introduce our new boyfriend. My wife and I, we've entered a throuple. This is EBE-2. Hey guys! It's really high pitched again.
Do you reckon as a baby it's in reverse where it's super deep?
Oh god. Oh, baby's hungry.
Whoa.
Oh, EBE 7742, you get up with him this time. Baby's hungry.
Whoa, mama. That's awful. Oh god, that'd be horrendous. Mama. That's awful. I'm not even going to pitch change that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
It's like it's talking through you.
It is. I was just channeling.
God.
EB baby 1. Is there anything you'd like to say to the people of Earth?
Not really. I didn't want to be here today.
Would you call it EB baby?
EB baby, why not? Yeah. EB Baby 1.
Nice.
So, Jordan, supposedly before EBE1 passed away, it is said that he helped set the stage for something massive. And you, my friend, know all about this because we've spoken about it on a bonus episode. Any clue without reading ahead?
We've spoken about many things.
We have.
Frankly, I don't know.
Okay, well, let's think about aliens. Something massive.
The squonk.
I'm just going to ignore that.
Okay.
Oh, you play with my emotions, boy.
Sorry.
Does Project Serpo ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Ba-ba-ba. For a full and hilarious rundown, please feel free to go check out the bonus episode. But for a quick rundown right now, apparently the US government made an agreement with EBE-1's pals back on his home planet, and a diplomatic exchange program deal was struck. We send humans to their planet, they send more alien bastards here, and we have a little bit of a cultural exchange.
Okay, yeah.
So now, whether all of that happened or not is a whole other debate. But one thing is for sure, whatever really went down, the government locked up Area 51 tighter than my wife's knickers, and they'll never really admit what happened. But Jordan, for once I'd like you to try and hold into your knickers, because here is where things get interesting.
Gripping tightly.
In the years following Roswell, there was a sudden explosion in technological advancements. In the 1950s, there was the microchip, fiber optics, and transistors that all suddenly appeared. In the 1960s, there was integrated circuits, laser technology, and night vision. And then in the 1970s, there was the creation of the stealth bomber. Coincidence? Some say hell no. Not a goddamn chance in hell.
Yeah, it aligns well, doesn't it?
It does indeed. And what could the reason be for this, Jordan?
Before you continue, can I let go of my knickers? I mean, I've got a wedgie.
If you wouldn't mind, yeah. I mean, you look weird with them on now.
All right.
I'm just used to them being on the floor.
Fine, thanks.
One Colonel Philip Corso, who served at the Pentagon, later claimed in his book, The Day After Roswell, that he personally saw recovered alien technology and that it was secretly handed off to major defense contractors for reverse engineering. He said the military seeded alien tech into private industry under the guise of research breakthroughs, but did they admit it? No! Roswell was still being officially dismissed as a weather balloon incident until the US government contradicted itself.
Of course they did.
Of course they fucking did.
Idiots.
In 1994, just because they must have thought, this will definitely explain it and get everyone off of our backs, they released a new report saying, okay, fine, it wasn't a weather balloon, it was part of something called Project Mogul. And now, Project Mogul was real, and it was a classified project that used high-altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests. But there was a problem. Project Mogul balloons weren't made of memory metal, and they didn't have indestructible foil, and there sure as hell weren't fucking alien bodies on board. And then in 1997, the government doubled down again and said, alright, you got us, those alien bodies, they were just crash test dummies. This'll fool them.
Of course.
But there was just one small issue with that too. The dummies they claimed to have used didn't even exist until the 1950s. So unless these crash test dummies were time-travelling aliens, I just ain't buying it, and you ain't fooling no one, government.
And that'd be ironic, wouldn't it?
Elaborate.
The crash test dummies were time-travelling aliens themselves.
Yeah, that would be a conspiracy in itself, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? Fucking hell, it's like a paradox. But am I right in thinking that those bodies, weren't they very small?
Yeah.
Like child-shaped.
Child-shaped.
I can only imagine that's the only way I can put it. Or child-sized.
Yeah. Sort of like 3 to 4 foot, as they would normally describe a grey, yeah.
And so that kind of makes it seem worse, doesn't it? You know, if people are saying that there were child-sized bodies around,
yeah,
that seems way worse.
I think they just use it as a point of reference, you know, so they're not like giant babies. Giant baby-sized people, like a 3-4 foot giant baby.
I mean, it's the size of your babies, to be fair.
Yeah, my babies generally come out about that size. I'm starting to question whether they're from this star system or not. It was very scary because as soon as it was born, it was like, whoa.
Yeah, freaky.
So meanwhile, whistleblowers kept emerging. Former CIA agents, Air Force personnel, and even astronauts hinted that the real story was still buried. One of the biggest whistleblowers was your pal, Bob Liarface Lazar, but we all know about him, and I think we're all in agreement that we can just disregard his claims.
Oh, he's a good guy.
That's very, very debatable. But here, Jordan, is the wildest theory of them all. Did these aliens crash on purpose? Some suggest that the aliens deliberately crashed to manipulate humans' development. Reasons? Sure. The ship's technology would force military into reverse engineering, jump-starting a new era of materialistic, technologically driven society. The bodies could have been put in place after the crash to spark human curiosity about extraterrestrial life, nudging us towards space exploration.
Okay.
And some even suggest that the crash was a form of contact, testing whether we'd react with curiosity or aggression.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're seeding humanity with their technology, so we're like, oh, fucking can't live without my iPhone nowadays, so we're neglecting the spiritual side and going towards the materialistic side, just like them fuckers, which might make us easy to integrate into their species.
Oh, I see. I was wondering if it was from the realm of, let's say we were the aliens and we were dropping off this crash so that this other species can find it.
Yeah.
Well, what if what we dropped off actually was to help us, in a sense that when they recreate those things, we can just turn them off?
That's a very good point. I think there is, another theory that I've heard, was it Eisenhower who made the deal for abducting humans in exchange for technology?
Oh, right, yeah.
That's another way of getting their technology into our hands. But I've heard theories that, they just give us the fucking, a child's light-up gun that goes... the equivalent of that to us is something amazing, but to them it's just like, oh, you just give them that shit thing.
Like, that'll pacify him for a while.
Yeah, that'll keep them happy. We'll give them a laser, and, while we're on Earth going, wow, we could do so much with this, they're abducting people, getting on with their shit and doing their thing.
Yeah, thousands of years ahead.
Precisely. Whackers, essentially. So, Jordan, final thoughts for you. Roswell is one of those stories that never dies because the truth has never fully been revealed. Every few years, more leaks emerge, more witnesses speak out, and the government changes its story again. But the sheer number of military officials, scientists, and eyewitnesses who have told their story and hinted at cover-ups makes it too hard to ignore, and that, my friend, is why Roswell is still one of the biggest stories in UFO history, and I just want to know, what do you think?
Oh, it's a huge topic, isn't it?
Fucking is.
I'm glad you tackled it, though. Well done.
Thank you. Let's hear out how it comes out, shall we?
I can totally imagine that it's a real thing, and when you know that the governments and CIA officials have done things like MK Ultra, and that is real.
Yeah.
I mean, this is nothing in comparison.
Yeah, just because you add in the topic of aliens, does that make it impossible?
Yeah, but also, if they can go as far as doing things like MK Ultra, and at that time saying that they weren't.
Yeah, definitely.
It was later admitted and found out. Who's to say that they can't just say stuff about this? Or it's the same with, like, the moon landings?
Precisely, yeah. They're going to hide what they want, aren't they?
Exactly. If it's for their benefit, as in maybe they have more technology or information than they let on.
Yep.
They're going to keep that for themselves.
They're not just going to let it get out and get into the wrong hands, are they?
Exactly.
Well, I say wrong hands, but you know what I mean?
Yes, wronger hands.
But yeah, there you have it. Roswell.
Wow. Well done.
Thank you.
It was good. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
No real sort of need for conclusions, is there? I think we're both pretty much on the same page that we agree that it could have happened.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt it, to be honest with you.
I mean, I believe in aliens. I believe they're wackers. And I believe the US government are happy to hide stuff, so...
Oh, they're definitely happy to hide things. Even if it wasn't what we think it is, they won't be telling us the truth.
All the factors are there.
Love it. Thank you.
No, not a problem, pal.
So, Ian, how do you want to proceed?
How long do you think it's going to take to tell me your story? Because I really want to know it.
It's not going to take that long. Shall we just do it?
Just fucking do it, pals. Go. Mental. Go.
All right,
wow.
okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, Ian, I have a feeling you've probably heard this before, but I'm not sure if many of our listeners have.
How disappointed am I going to be like, oh, man, I waited a week for this, can't wait to... And you're like, so Roswell.
This is the interview of the alien notes. So, this is the story of the unluckiest, luckiest man alive.
I know exactly where this is going.
Do you?
Yep.
I knew you'd heard this before. It's not paranormal. It's just real events that you can just think, lightning can't strike twice, or 3, or 4, or 5, or 7 times. And this is a true story that I wanted to tell for a while, and I thought, sod it. Why not?
Perfect. This actually came up in a video I was watching last night where somebody was talking about quantum consciousness. You know, when you die and your consciousness just jumps to the next available universe that's closest to you.
Yeah.
So they brought up this story.
Oh, interesting.
And they were saying, like this guy. But I won't tell any of the gory details. I'll let you power through and then we'll have a giggle along the way.
Imagine if it wasn't what you thought.
Yeah, this was my life last week.
Yeah. So, shall we get into it?
Please do, pal.
All right. So, Ian, how do you define luck? Is it surviving a catastrophe? Is it winning the lottery? Or is it having your willy touched?
Got a good old Willy touch, but I was very lucky in my eyes.
Some might say it's simply being in the right place at the right time, or the wrong place but managing to walk away unscathed.
Oh yeah.
There are a few people in history to know this better than Frane Selek. Selek was a Croatian music teacher, good on him, who became known as the world's luckiest, unluckiest man, or the unluckiest lucky man. It's all perspective. His life was so extraordinary that the mere fact that he was married 6 times seems like a mere footnote in comparison to the events to come.
6 times?
6 times.
Wow.
And you think one's bad enough.
It's like the girl he married in the first place was part of a 6-tuplet.
Oh, yeah.
And every time he met a sister...
He just got it wrong.
Yeah. He's like, you've lost your wedding ring.
Oh, you look like Mary.
You'll do.
Over the course of 4 decades, Selek narrowly escaped death in accidents involving nearly every mode of transport imaginable. Curiously, the one exception was a boat, and despite the fact that he was actually born on one.
What?
Yeah, he was born on a boat.
Can you tell me how many near-death misses he has had?
I mean, we will go through them.
I'm just wondering if you can give me just a whole number, because I'm wondering if the amounts of near-death may amount to number of ex-wives.
I think it's 7, but it could be 6, and therefore it could be the amount of wives.
One tried twice. Okay.
In 1929, his parents were fishing near Dubrovnik when his mother, who was 7 months pregnant at the time, unexpectedly went into labour and she gave birth before they could return to shore.
Wow, so 2 months premature and he still survived on a boat.
If that wasn't unlucky enough.
Yeah.
From there, Selek's life became the stuff of legend. While many of the details have been embellished over time, and as they do, and there's a bit of a lack of official documentation, the core of his story remains fascinating, and here's how he claimed it all happened. Selek's first dice with death occurred in 1957 when the bus he was riding veered off the road and plunged into a river. Both he and the driver managed to swim to safety with only minor cuts and bruises.
Nice.
Selek later revealed that the driver never got behind the wheel without half a bottle of brandy in his system.
Ugh.
Go fucking figure. And yet, despite this, he insisted the man was an excellent driver. I would argue against that, but there you go.
I'd second that notion, yep.
And the irony? The very purpose of their trip was to go and drink more brandy.
Oh.
But there you go.
I want to drink brandy.
Yeah, but you probably wouldn't go drive a bus then, would you?
Yeah, I don't own a bus, mate. Just jump in the car, wouldn't I?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Why not?
And if that wasn't bad enough, just 5 years later, disaster struck again. While travelling by train, a boulder fell on the tracks, causing it to derail and crash into a freezing river.
Oh,
horrible.
horrible.
Selek broke a compartment window, escaping the submerged carriage, while even pulling an acquaintance to safety, despite having a broken arm and hypothermia.
Oh, bad combo.
Pretty bad. Villagers rescued them both from the river, but 17 of the other passengers sadly did not make it.
Right, so it's only ever him and a guy who survived.
So far, and it's seeming to be a bit of a recurring theme. Then just a year later, Selek boarded a charter flight. And side note, I'd actually never heard of a charter flight before.
Okay, I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
So I ended up looking it up, and it's a flight by an aircraft for a specific journey that's not part of the airline's regular schedule.
Okay.
Anyway, didn't know that, but there you go. So it turns out that the plane was fully booked, so it was not initially allowed to fly.
So it sellotaped him to the ceiling.
Duct tape, stronger.
Yeah.
That was stupid, Ian.
Not far out of the realms of reality for him, though, is it?
Really isn't.
Probably been safer on the roof.
To be honest, yeah. But after pleading his case that the trip was to visit his ill mother, the crew allowed him on board. He was seated near the back, next to the flight attendant.
Oh, so there was a seat.
And he did that because he never hears of a plane backing into a mountain.
That's true.
That's a lie, by the way.
But still very true.
Ironically very true.
I'm getting that on a bumper sticker.
Midway through the flight, the plane suffered a mechanical failure and began to lose altitude.
By this point, you'd just be like, for fuck's sake, man.
Oh, I know. You'd be like, 3 times?
You'd be eyeing up the people in the hull of the plane thinking, which one shall I save?
Exactly. I mean, it's just one of those things where you think, well, he just shouldn't have got on board when he was told no at the beginning.
Just stay at home, mate.
I think you would, wouldn't you?
Oh, definitely.
So before the plane's impact, the aircraft's door was torn off, and Selak and a flight attendant were sucked out, falling around 800 meters,
Oh, God.
which is 2,600 feet.
And what's that in inches?
About the length of my cock.
Oh, God. True.
You know that one.
Yeah, so true. Can vouch.
Thinking, of course, that that would be his end, against all odds, he landed in a haystack, which cushioned his fall.
Wow.
The flight attendant also survived, but sadly, all of the passengers on board perished.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Yeah. And after that, Selak vowed never to fly again.
Or walk, or drive, or get on a boat, or a pogo
Well, boats
stick.
are fine.
Or a fucking BMX.
And if that wasn't bad enough, after all this bullshit and bad luck, Selak decided to avoid public transportation.
Good.
And so did that help him, Ian? No!
Damn.
In fact, this did little to improve his luck.
His house fell off a cliff.
No, it didn't, Ian, but it probably could have.
His house crashed into an oncoming 747.
It crashed into another house.
His house got in a fender bender with a bungalow.
When he said he's moving home, that's not what he thought it was. Because in 1970, while driving on the motorway, his car suddenly, randomly, caught fire. He managed to escape moments before the flames reached the fuel tank and exploded.
Good job.
Only 3 years after this, another vehicle's mishap nearly cost him his life again, when a faulty fuel pump leaked hot oil into the engine, sending flames shooting through the internal air vents.
Good lord.
Yeah, while Selak lost most of his hair, he otherwise escaped unharmed.
If it's a cold day, I guess you probably wouldn't mind. Just put your seat as far back as you can.
A little bit of singeing,
Yeah, it, you know, you got to sometimes suffer for the things you want in life.
and by God did he.
He has indeed, yeah. He's been through a bit. Poor guy.
Then 2 decades passed without an incident. Relax. That is, Ian, until 1995 when Selak was hit by a bus.
In bed.
Remarkably, he suffered no serious injuries.
Swing.
And finally, the following year, in 1996, Selak was driving along a winding mountain road when a truck came hurtling towards him. He managed to swerve to avoid head-on collision, but he lost control and crashed into a guardrail. That barrier then gave way, sending his car plummeting over 300 feet into a ravine.
Good lord.
Selak, who had refused to wear seatbelts ever since his plane crash, was actually thrown from the car.
Oh, lucky.
Well, actually it saved him because he managed to grab onto a tree branch just before his vehicle hit the ground and exploded.
Grabbed onto a fucking tree branch.
Yep.
He just fell like 8,000 meters and he just like, oh, there's a tree branch there. Bloop, grab on.
Well, it was 300 feet, but yeah.
I couldn't remember what you said, alright?
So after surviving 7 near-fatal incidents, Selak took one final gamble. He played the lottery.
Oh, but shit ton of drugs.
In the mid-2000s, just days after his 73rd birthday, he won the jackpot, Ian.
Wow.
6.5 million kuna, which is approximately $1 million at the time.
Wowzer doodles.
With his winnings, he purchased a luxurious house and a holiday home, only to have a change of heart and sell it in 2010.
Okay.
He gave away most of the money to family and friends and reportedly gifted 25 cars and lent money to many people.
Did he happen to check the odometers on those before he sold them?
Oh yeah, I mean, he took pictures of them all.
Nice. Good lad. Good guy.
You know, he wanted to make sure that the national averages were correct.
Problem is, he put all the pictures that he took on Polaroids on his top shelf in his cupboard, and when he went to get a coat out one day, they all collapsed on top of him. He was only able to save himself and one of the shoe.
And then he died.
That's what finally got him.
God damn you, odometer!
He was right.
So despite his wealth, Selak remained humble. After he sold his properties, he returned to a simpler life with his wife Katrina. He was quoted to say, "All I need at my age is my Katrina. Money would not change anything. When she arrived, I knew then that I really did have a charmed, blessed life." Soppy git.
As he was saying that, was there any kind of bass lines going on in the background?
What do you mean?
You know, just maybe something along the lines of no. He's like, all I need is...
It's not reported.
Fair enough.
But possibly.
I just wondered if there's somebody walking along at the time was like, what a catchy tune. Like, and then he just hears my Katrina. And he's like, oh, God.
No, it's not been said, but...
Ever the possibility, mate.
And finally, Salak passed away in 2016 at the ripe age of 86.
He's definitely alive underground and he didn't die. That's impossible. they thought he died. He probably had a slow heart rate when he fell asleep one day. They buried him. He's still alive.
Maybe.
I guarantee.
But his incredible story serves as a reminder of the tightrope constantly walked between fortune and bad luck, and proof that sometimes life truly can be stranger than fiction.
Abso-frickin-lutely. Couldn't have put that better myself.
A bus crash, a train derailment, a plane crash, car fires, bus collisions, and mountain road crash.
And odometer photographs.
And that too. And the collapsed bookcase.
At that time, he accidentally slipped through a window onto a stick of dynamite.
It was just very bad luck.
It was terrible luck for such a nice guy.
But he managed to save himself and someone else.
At every turn, oddly enough. Almost like it was pre-planned or something. But fantastic. Thank you for telling us that, Jordan.
There you go, yeah. So that is the world's luckiest / unluckiest man, Frayne Selak.
Do you believe in luck?
I think we make our own luck.
Beautiful. I think that's the perfect ending to a horribly organised podcast.
Nice.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us so you don't miss another episode, and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend into the desert and tell them that you'll help recreate the Roswell crash using them as one of the bodies if they don't listen to Two Guys What's Up.
Totally fair. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode, which you can click on and be jetted off to every link you will ever need for all your Two Guys What's Up essentials. Want to get your own Two Guys What's Up t-shirt? Click the link.
Want to know what happened to all of Jordan's Polaroids? Click the link.
Want to create your own good luck? Click the link.
And when you click that link, it will blast you off to Patreon, the home of all your Two Guys What's Up extra essentials, including pin badges, shout-outs, t-shirts, and if you really can't get enough of our fantastic tales and really high-pitched for our age voices, well, now you can get more of each because we release bonus episodes that come out on the last Friday of every single month. There are currently 21 just sitting up there right now waiting for you to just go and have a little wriggle around and all that extra audio goodness, and all that starts for just £3 a month.
Bargain. So if you want to help support the show and get some cool stuff while you do so, head over to patreon.com/Two Guys What's Up to check out all the goodies over there. The link will be down below for your clicking pleasure.
But if you can't do that, but you still like to help us out, then a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best, freest, and most fantastical way for you to do that for us, and we would be eternally grateful. But on that note, thanks for listening. You all have an amazing week, and we will see you next Monday. Well.
Bye.
Setting the stage for something extraordinary to happen there.
Setting the stage.
What did I say?
Strange.
No, I didn't.
I'm sure you did.
Why would I say setting the strange?
I'm sure you did. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you did.
I'm probably wrong. That's fair enough. That's a fair statement to make. I'll say it again.
Selak later revealed that the driver got behind the wheel without half a bottle of brandy in his system. Oh, sorry. Let me read that again.
Yeah, is that a requirement? You have to be to drive a bus?